think it's a calling. I think that the opportunity to nurture and support and make a difference in students' lives is a calling.
I do it because I've always wanted to make a difference in the world, and there were very few options available to me of ways that I could impact the world in a substantial way. I do not believe that one human can pick up a big enough stone and throw it into the metaphorical sea of humanity to make a big enough ripple to change the tide of that sea. But I can throw a lot of pebbles. And I have taught thousands and thousands of students over the course of 26 years, and each one of them is my pebbles. And they will change the tide of that sea.
They need us, especially with our changing world. They just need some positive role models in their lives.
It's a calling, I believe. It's not an easy profession. It keeps you on your toes. It's something different every single day. It challenges you, but it's super impactful. You know, I'm not sitting here every day making rich people richer. At the end of the day, I know that what I'm doing matters, and so it makes me feel fulfilled to serve my community.
My third grade teacher was an amazing person. I had a really hard second grade year, and the third grade teacher that I had, Mrs. Carlson, changed my life and accepted me for who I was, and I have never looked back. I always wanted to be a teacher.
There are joys, there are sadnesses, there are frustrations. One of the things that is the greatest joy is seeing a student when they come into our doors, seeing where they're at, and then where they are when they leave.
This was my dream. I dreamed of being a teacher.
I actually student taught at college, got into the experience. I was a couple weeks in and I realized I hated it, and I was never going to teach a day in my life, and I ran from the profession.
My friend was like, you really should go back and be a teacher. So I was like, okay, I'll go back. Got my teaching degree.
There are literal aha moments, and when you get to see the kids light up, when you get to see the kids make connections, when you get to see the kids, all of a sudden just it clicks for them. It is such a rush to get to be a part of that and get to see the kids grow right before you.
I was only at Whittier for a year and only in the EL department for that year, but I had 2 students reach out to me this year who were graduating high school, and they graduated partway through the year, but they reached out to me to see if that would be something I'd do. They started emailing me, months ahead of time to let me know this is what we're doing, this is the next step, and then to ask if I could come be a piece of that. And I didn't even realize that we had made a strong enough connection for them to really want that, but they ended up telling me, and there was 2 of them, that class was very impactful for them, and they felt like in that setting and with that community and with the teachers that they had that year, that's when they really felt like they kind of transitioned to being part of our community. And so I didn't really realize that in that short amount of time how impressionable 1 year could be for a student.
My first class, my first graders, one of those girls graduated from high school, and she became my babysitter. And my son loves her, and they practice Spanish and practice English, and she helped us in so many things, and we keep in touch after so many years. Now she's in the middle of her college career, about to graduate.
This was from another girl that she just expressed my endless love and compassion that I showed her, and everyone always made her look up to me. And she actually is in college right now and going into education, and she just said, hopefully I can impact students the way you've impacted me.
I have one note that I keep with me at all times. It's actually in my wallet. My first year of teaching, I taught at a school in St. Paul, Minnesota, and it was a really hard school, and so I have this note. It was like one of the only positive notes I got that entire year, so I keep it with me just to remind me when I'm having a bad day of like why I do what I do. I got a lot of I'm sorry notes that year from students who were having trouble behaving. And so this is probably the only positive note I got that entire year of teaching 3rd grade. So it says, "Dear Miss Kylie, this is not a note for a sorry, it is a thank you for reading for us. I really like when you read for us. I'm grateful for what you do for us. Thank you, Miss Kylie. It is very relaxing when you read for us. Thank you." And so that was from my student Mushtaq, and all I was doing was reading Magic Tree House to them every day, but I had no idea. I thought they hated it, to be honest. I just tried to keep a routine and a schedule, and I remember when I got this, I was like, oh, they like it. Someone likes it. It does mean something. And so now she's probably I think she's in 7th grade. And so she probably doesn't remember writing this note, but I keep it with me. It's just nice to know that, I don't know, I didn't know I was making a difference, and for that student I was.
I'm thankful for Mrs. Zuger. She taught me to believe in myself and have confidence in my work. She helped me be creative and have fun with what I'm doing. She always made me laugh and made 6th grade ELA so much fun. She helped me become less worried about starting 7th grade and made me less anxious about my team and teachers, so I would have a great year. Overall, she's a very kind person and the best teacher ever.
Something happened at home and he was struggling, and his dad had called the school, and then he was saying to both Mr. Byerly and myself that Ms. Eckerman is like the closest thing to a mom that he's ever seen, and he's really changed his life and had a huge impact on his growth and his ability to manage his behavior better.
I will be a 9th grader at Washington High School this year, and we have been asked about a teacher that has made a positive impact on us, as we will have a special ceremony to recognize them. You came to mind right away. When I was in your class, I would always remember how kind and patient you were to everyone all the time, and that is something that has guided my actions through the years. You always talked about having a growth mindset and positive attitude towards everything we do, and trying our best no matter the circumstance. You have really been one of the teachers to impact me the most and truly inspire me to work hard to accomplish the things I have set out to do. This brings me to the point of this letter. I would like to invite you to be my guest of honor at our 18th annual Teacher Appreciation Volleyball match.
And I start reading the letter, and it says, Señor Granny, thank you for the difference you made in my life. You don't realize this, but I still remember you in 2nd grade when you believed in me. Nobody else did. Everybody bullied me, but you loved me, cared for me, and made me believe that I can do more than everybody else thought I could. And thanks to you, I'm graduating next year, and I know what I want to do in life because of your love, of your hugs, and all the faith you had in me, and that gave me the strength to keep going and moving forward.
3 girls who graduated high school. This fall they showed up in my classroom while I was getting my classroom set, and they had went on a mission trip to Guatemala, and I teach Spanish, and these 3 girls thought to buy this handmade scarf in Guatemala, and they also printed me off photos and came and shared with me about their trip to Guatemala. And I couldn't even believe it. I mean, they had already graduated, and they took the time to come back in August and come and just tell me that I had helped inspire them to travel and to use their Spanish. And so this is something that is very near and dear to my heart.
Sometimes they get discouraged because they don't see their test scores move and things like that. And I said, well, don't you feel like you're better? I feel like all of you are better. I know you're better. And one girl said, well, yeah, you know what? I am, because I used to be really scared when I'd get called on in science or social studies because I knew I couldn't read those big words. And now I know I can do it because we've learned how to sound all that stuff out. So now I'm not freaked out when they call on me. And that was really special to me. That means way more than test scores or her report card or anything, was that she isn't scared anymore. She knows maybe she's not going to be the best reader, but she knows that she can do it. So I was really proud of her. You cannot put a number on that.
He had a lot of trauma, family dysfunction, living with grandparents, a lot of unsurety about himself. And so I felt like from the moment I met him, I was going to be kind of his cheerleader, not just there for him academically, but ensuring he had the tools he needed to be successful socially and emotionally. I was just working at my desk one day after school, and all of a sudden this student walked in, and I immediately knew who it was. He shared that he had got a full ride scholarship and that he was going to become a teacher. Although he probably doesn't remember the academic piece of things, that social and emotional side, and knowing that he felt safe here and was safe to come back was just everything that I could have ever imagined feeling in my teaching career.
I still remember what you taught me in third grade, and it's never academic. It's the things that you taught them about being a good person. And honestly, that's my goal, is I know that academically I can probably get most of them where they need to be, but I want them to be good members of community and society and love themselves and be able to care for others.
It reminds me what I'm doing, you know, what is my purpose in education, and really it's to build these relationships. And that, again, sounds cliche, but it's really true. Like, nothing else is going to happen in this building unless we start with those relationships.
I get to teach Teacher Pathway, and this is a class for students to explore if a career in education is for them. I often ask, why did you take this class, or why do you want to be a teacher? And always, it's because of other teachers. Teachers who had an influence on them and said, hey, you could be a good teacher, you should take Teacher Pathway. Or teachers that just made them love learning and love school. So we always say those teachers' names and just give them the credit that they deserve in our classroom. My Teacher Pathway students recognize that the teachers have poured into them, and it's made them curious about maybe being a teacher.
She let me know that she had moved from Nevada to Ohio and was enrolled at Ohio State for teaching because of the impact that I had had on her as a third grade student. That was a wow moment because I never knew that I had impacted her that much. And there would be other students that would come through and say, you know, I know that I struggled when I was in your class, but hey, I wanted to come back and let you know that I'm now captain of the football team, or I'm now class valedictorian. Those moments just make your heart soar, because sometimes you know that you've made an impact with those students, and other times you have no idea that you made that impact. And so that's what keeps us going, because you never know. It might be the smallest of moments, and it meant the world to that student.
As I finish up my junior year at Boston University, I look back at how much has changed since I took the class with you, and with the smile that you had on your face. I just wanted you to know that your influence does not get forgotten, even though that is pretty obvious with every student or athlete you train or teach. A majority of the people I've met here hate their AP chemistry teachers and hate chemistry, and luckily I can say I'm not one of those. I was recently published in the Journal of Organic Chemistry working with John Rocco Jr., and so she went on to say that she's now a published chemistry student who's now in a Journal of Organic Chemistry, and how much she appreciates it, and the path that we kind of set her on. It just kind of reinforces that what we're doing here is right, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to push them. We're trying to get them to become better students, better individuals, and really just set them on a path to be successful adults.
Third grader that I had at Cleveland who really had a hard time, and I remember he and I on the last day of school cried together. It was really a sad moment when we knew we weren't going to be together, because I was somebody who he trusted, and he now is a principal. And a few years ago he reached out to me and had written when he turned 30, he had written a blog about 30 for 30, and I was number 5. So that was kind of a neat experience for me.
Last summer, my business partner and I were sitting on the patio and just having a 5-minute break that we hadn't had together in a long time. And a former student walked up and he said, I bet you don't remember my name. And somehow, some way, the brain was right there. And I said, hi, Jacob. And he literally stopped. He goes, I was not the best student in the world. And I said, you had a different personality. He goes, I'm still kind of a different personality, but I wanted to stop and say when I saw you sitting here that you helped me make it. I wouldn't have done it without you. And I got all choked up in the moment, and he goes, I wondered if I could get a hug. And his girlfriend is standing there, and you know what? Yeah, I'll give you a hug. And I stood up and I gave him a hug. And he said, thank you very much for everything you did. And he walked away, and I sat back down, and I've got tears in my eyes. And I turn and look, and Steve's got tears in his eyes. He's like, I knew you did really cool stuff. He said, I've never seen that before. That is one of my favorite stories. I am fortunate to have hundreds of those. It is that long-term delayed gratification. Teaching is the ultimate delayed gratification profession.
Like this letter says, this program saved my life this year. I was in an incredibly dark place last year, but this band made me realize I belonged somewhere, and that somewhere is on the field surrounded by people who love doing this too. I don't want to be overly emotional, but I have never been happier in my life. It's just pretty cool, you know, and when I have, you know, there's ups and downs in this job, but when I have a rough day or something, you know, seems like it's doom and gloom, I pull these out and realize that generally we're doing pretty good work, and it's pretty fulfilling to know that we're making a difference in somebody's life, and I'm blessed to be in a job where I can actually impact human beings and make a difference in their lives, and hopefully just be a ray of sunshine in their day.
There's an old Greek proverb that societies grow great when the old men plant trees knowing that will never benefit from the shade. And that's who teachers are, day in, day out, right? Like, we do the work, and we don't know what our students are going to go do. We don't know the impact they're going to have, but we know that we're planting those seeds and that they're going to be amazing.
It always is sort of amazing the impact that you have on certain kids, and you don't realize it until they do something like this. And it just is really why I keep doing it too.
You think they forget about you, and they really don't.
I think I'm a teacher for a reason.
It's been rewarding to go back and emotional to go back and read what people have taken the time to say, and I guess that's a blessing.